channel. My name is Lotus Mage. As you can see, I'm in a bit of a little mess. I was doing a reading earlier. So excuse this right now. But today, I thought we could go over some childhood trauma. Some childhood trauma that could be holding you back or stunting you from growing. Just because right now I'm going on through a journey of kind of like dealing with some shadow work kind of like things. And so I figure, why not take you all along with me as I go through this journey. So just forewarning, because this can get dark, it can get heavy, it could possibly make you cry, it could possibly, be triggering, bring up things that you don't actually want to deal with, remind you of things. Maybe you're not in the space physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever, to kind of just deal with this. And I could be, to be quite blunt, peeling off a scab that has no business being peeled off for you right now. And you just kind of like, don't want to hear it, don't need to hear it, you're not in the space to hear it. And I could peel off this scab, and now you need to, because I done triggered you, or, brought it back up, and now you need to go and seek professional help. And, financially, you just can't do it right now. So I would say, if that is the case for you, or if you feel like that could potentially come up, click off right now. This is the time for you to click off. This is the time for you to move along. Maybe you need another reading today. You probably need something a little lighter because it's been a heavier week. The retrograde is going to start, or has started now by the time this goes up. And it won't be over till like June 10th or 13th, something like that. The full moon is also going to be in Scorpio. So, that the macabre is going to come up, some dark things. And so maybe that's probably why I've been feeling in the mood to do shadow work, some dark readings, and things like that. So, now that that is out the way, the trigger warning has been said. I've told you what I could possibly tell you without actually getting any further into this. I would like to say, hello, welcome. My name is Lotus Mage. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, you should subscribe. You should share. Comment even. I am open to comments. I am new to doing this on YouTube. No, I am not currently in the market of doing personal readings right now, just because I don't feel like I have the setup for it right now. So, yeah, you should only see, you should not be getting any messages from me or anything like that about, I charge to do readings, or I shouldn't be reaching out to you, leaving you messages like, oh, I see your profile and it looks lovely. I'm getting a lot of energy from you, babe. I feel like there's something I need to tell you, Spirit has for me that I need to share with you. That's not coming from me, because that is not my ministry right now. That's not what I'm practicing. So I felt like that was very essential to say. For one. For two, sorry, I gotta move my candles over, because these things is like, gotta elevate you a little bit. So, Just want to put that out there. You should not be getting anything from me. I'm not charging for personal readings because I am not doing them. But you should see me on both TikTok and Instagram as Lotus Mage. There's nothing really much up right now just because it's something new. So yeah, you can start following those so you can start seeing shorts of little readings. I'm probably going to do things like daily draws or, you know, decks or books or something like that I've gotten into. So without further ado, so now that you see the 5 archetypes for this reading, the 5 things that you can choose from, we have the Creator for your childhood trauma. We have the Starborn. We have the Deadend. We have TheBridge. And then we have TheHeart. I will give you a minute to resonate with one of these. Choose one. Yeah, I want you to kind of choose one. What do you get a feel for? And now I'm going to get into pile 1, which is the Creator. So welcome back. Through Creators. This is, if you chose a Creator, pile 1. And sit that there. It's the overall influence here. Okay, so before we get into this, I just kind of want you to get a minute. Ground yourself. Be open to what comes up. Yes. Leave what does not resonate for you. Because again, this is a general reading, so everything may not pertain to you. So just take what you get. Nope, we're just doing it one because resonating with your pile 1 energy. So we are dealing with the Creators. Pile 1s. Just ground yourself. Take a minute. I'm going to give you a minute to decide if you want to go further with this. Because again, I'm doing a reading on childhood traumas that is potentially hindering you today, that you don't know about or that you may be aware about and you're not dealing with it. All right, getting started. So, what childhood traumas are my Creators, my pile 1s dealing with? What childhood traumas or hinders are my pile 1s, the Creators, dealing with? What childhood traumas, hurts, problems, issues, secrets are my pile 1s, the Creators, dealing with? That kind of just flew out of there. And that makes sense as a young kid, the Fool. You have been the Fool. Okay. I will note that this Fool holds a flower, and I think of just like art. I think of like some of the first things you start doing, doodling, drawing is like the sun. You draw flowers, you draw hearts, you draw cards. So it already kind of gives me a feeling that maybe this has something to do with like an artistic talent that may have been stunted because of naysayers or because of say-sos. But this pile, this deck, we're going to get into who was the cause of your childhood trauma. So who caused this karma? Sorry. this trauma for my creators, my power ones? Who caused this trauma for my power ones? Okay, that was one I wanted to flip over though. So 7 of Knives, and then there was 2 more that wanted to fall out with it. And so then we got Railroad Bill. Actually, let's do this. So we got what the childhood trauma is, who caused it, and now I'm going to get into why this is a childhood trauma for you. This definitely gives me like parental figures. Like somebody was not loving or nurturing enough, but I want to see what I get with this. Okay. Why did this trauma happen to the creators? Why did this trauma happen to the creators? To my power ones. Why? I'm getting a chill. Why did this trauma happen to my creators? Why did this trauma happen to my creators? Why did this trauma happen to my creators? Why did this trauma happen? Why did this trauma happen to my creators, my power ones? Why did this trauma happen to my creators, my power ones? My creators, my power ones. Okay, there's only one card I want to come out. Yeah, to be quite frank, what the trauma is that you were just left to your own devices as a kid, and you probably had to raise yourself up, kind of thing. That's kind of like what it's giving me, and you kind of made do with what you had, and maybe your parents were purposely being neglectful, kind of thing. Like, oh, we hated you. Like, they probably loved you and everything like that. But it just gives me that they just didn't have the time. There were other things going on. Maybe you had several other siblings. Maybe you were the blessing baby, the late baby that they had. And they weren't adequately prepared, or whatever the case may be. That's just kind of like what I get. And so I think they needed a moment to get their groundings. They probably weren't ready to be parents again, or be parents at all. And I really feel like maybe you were the only child, but maybe you had other siblings. And there, you do have 2 swords here, knives. And this 7 of Knives do give me like, oh, you had that parent or that mother that was there for you, but maybe you had some kind of like help in the home. And I don't want to say help if you actually had like a 2-parent household, but like maybe you had that uncle that, because your parents were always working, or because, you came from a single parent household, your mom was busy working, or, your dad was busy working. And so you probably had a help from an outside adult, that uncle, that aunt, that grandmother, older cousin, maybe even an older sibling. Maybe that's probably why I'm getting single child vibes. That maybe it was a bit, especially if you were like a late baby for your mom, your dad, or your parents. And, they were there. When they were there, it was nice, it was lovely. But when they weren't, it was hectic. And maybe you trusted this other adult parent, and they probably still weren't giving you the attention and care that you needed. And so why this happened, I had the 10 of Swords. It's just kind of like, there was I kind of get like something that shouldn't have started in the first place. Maybe that makes more sense for you. I just kind of get why this happened. It was something that shouldn't have happened in the first place. And you know, now that it's ending or it has ended, there's some shit you have to do to move forward, kind of thing. Let's get a bit more clarity on why is the Fool card here. Can I get a bit more clarity on why the Fool card is here for my pile ones? Why is the Fool card here for my pile ones? I don't know why. Just off the record, lighten this up a bit. This deck smells like almond or like cherry almond, like a Jergens lotion. I love the way this deck smells, and it came to me that way. I love the way it smells. I don't know why it smells like that. I'm not mad about it at all. I love the way it smells. I just get the shuffling in and I smell that. But why is the Fool card here for my number ones, the creators? Why is the Fool card here for my number ones? Can I get some more clarity on why the Fool card is here for my number ones? Oop. And then you get the next one in the deck. So you have a... Honey, what happened? What happened? You have the Eight of Swords. You have the Eight of Swords. Like... You have a lot of swords here, but you also have the Magician on why the Fool is here. Again, it's still giving me that I had to make do with what I had. I tried to make the best out of a bad situation, but because, you know, I was a child, or, you know, I was someone of, you know, a young age that didn't have the way of the world about myself. I was trapped. There was nothing I could really get out of that. There's nothing I could do with it. You got the 7, 8, and the 10 of Swords. Why is this 10 of Swords here? So I got plenty of material things. So yeah. Again, it gives me like your parents were caring. It gives me like you had everything you needed, so you didn't really need for material things, but you definitely were lacking the things that actually mattered. The love, the lessons, the warmth, the spending time, the care. You were missing out on the nurturing. You kind of had to do the nurturing yourself, or maybe, you know, the world taught you how to nurture, and it's probably been hard to go about doing it, really. And maybe you started to, so the way I can see this, how this could start manifesting in your life, how it's kind of haunting you. Maybe you're still that materialistic child. You're still that person that kind of brag or say, you know, well, I have money. I have everything. My parents is this, you know, we come from wealth, or, you know, we're from a well-to-do background, blah, 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 and all this other stuff. But it's showing up in how you interact in your relationships. You don't value people. You don't value your friendships or things like that. You value materialistic things because that's what you have been taught to value. And so if you don't value people, if you don't value yourself, how do you know what's your worth? How do you know the worth of other people? Like whether they're worth sticking around for or being there. Yeah, that's kind of like what this is giving me. That's definitely what this is giving me. I get you were well-to-do. You were probably somewhat cared for or looked after, whether that was by a family or a nanny or whatever, while your parent or parents worked to care for you and provided you with all the material things that you needed, but they were lacking where it mattered and giving you, time, care, the love, actually showing you the ropes about the world. You kind of had to hard way of figuring shit out on your own. That's what it gives me. So let's see. How can my pile ones, the creators, move forward from this childhood trauma? Oh my God, there's so many things that flipped over. Come on. So I'm just going to note these just in case they come back up because it's like 5 cards. You got the circles in reverse, which reads clarity. Clarity begins in the eye of the storm. Then you got wisdom in play. Our intuition knows more than we do. Then we got perspective. A calm and clear mind is free to see differently. False beliefs. Once the untruths that we believe about ourselves are illuminated, so are the ways we can release the false limitations they confine us to. And then I also have empty. The ending and beginning lie at either side of the same door. But I'm going to flip these over because there was so many of these that came out. I just want to note those to see if they will come back out. All right, let's shake that off. How can my pile ones, the creators, heal from this childhood wound? How can my pile ones, the creators, heal from this childhood wound? How can my pile ones, the sacred creators, the creators, how can my pile ones, the creators, move forward from this childhood wound? How can my creators, the pile ones, move forward from this childhood wound? Can I get one more healing card or message for my pile ones, the creators, in order to heal from their childhood wounds? Can I get one card, one more clarifying card or message, healing message for my pile ones, the creators, on how they can move forward from their childhood trauma? One more card. No, I guess not. It's not happening. So I got Spirit Self, be who you are as you are. I want to amend that. Be who you are as you were. Go back to that fun, loving, open-eyed you before you had to become materialistic, before you were running away from the truth of that. You know, hey, my parents or my parent cares, but they're not giving me the care that I need, that I deserve. Yeah. I think that's what I want to amend Spirit Self is be who you are as you were. You need a moment of reflection to go back. You need a moment of reminding yourself of probably like some childhood things that you probably missed out on because you were too busy trying to be an adult. I really get like only child, and if you're not an only child, it practically felt like you were an only child because you're probably like way younger than your other siblings or other sibling, where you were kind of like, it's like a 10, 15, 20 something age gap. You get what I'm saying? Like it feels like it was something like that. Again, you had all the materialistic things that you needed, but at that point your parents were probably like, or parent was tired. Like they were either tired or, you know, they already went through this and they just couldn't do it again. But, you know, for whatever reason, whatever their choices were, they decided to keep you. They decided to raise you. Or maybe, you know, they thought it was going to be different. Some things probably didn't work out on their end that they didn't expect. So, here they are. Let me move this pile. I don't think I'm going to use that at all. You know, that they could do. Where is the case for this? And so I'm gonna shuffle this. I like to do overall breakdown of kind of like how this can go. Kind of like a TLDR of your childhood trauma. Okay. What is the problem for your childhood problem? What is... This is what came out first. Here we go again. Materialism. That's your childhood trauma. Materialism. You, material girl, very materialistic. That's all you think you're worth. Probably people are worth. What are they bringing to the table for you? And that's probably how you go about treating them. How you go about treating people. Their worth is based on their bank account. Their worth is based on what they have. Their worth is based on the network that they're bringing. Is it something that's going to help bring up your worth? Is this boyfriend or girlfriend that I'm about to start dating, are they bringing some kind of social status for me? Because let's be honest, there is a advantage to being married or coupled, I would say. There is an advantage that comes with that. So that is the problem, the root of the problem with your childhood trauma. Now the solution for your childhood trauma. Let's see. It's funny that this is what came right out. Is there anything else? Okay. Okay, so funny enough, you have the, sorry about that, I had to check. You have the fish card, which usually it can speak to, the solution is, it can mean letting go of some things, letting go of your materialism, letting go of your obsession of material things, of material items, of fake people around you. Or it could also speak to you need to have greater flexibility in how you determine people's worth and how you determine your worth. I feel is what comes to mind. Again, this one has like the what is that? The King of Diamonds, I think it is on it. So it's which translates to the King of Pentacles, which is very much like, okay, yeah, I know what I have. Everybody else don't have to bring what I have to the table. Everybody don't come from where I come from. I need to let that go. Like everybody, to be quite honest, everybody is not destined to have that. Some people measure their abundance in other ways. And you need to stop measuring your abundance with your bank account. And with this, again, is giving me, you need to let go of your materialistic ways. You need, or at least, again, be more flexible with it. Like, stop buying shit unnecessarily. Stop thinking you can buy your friends. Is the kind of thing that gives me. What would be the solution to your childhood trauma? What would be the outcome of your childhood trauma? What would be the outcome of this trauma if you heal it? Let's see what we got here. The outcome is like 3 cards. First time I got something in reverse. So, at least in this deck, I would say. I got the book, which means secrets. It can also mean like, locking away your treasure. Then I have the mice. If I remember correctly, the mice in the Lenormand deck it speaks to like sneakiness. But I'm gonna refer to the book because I don't remember. One sec. So the mice card means in the feeling of worry and stress, the feeling that something is just gnawing away at you. It could be an irritating annoyance, a skin rash, shoplifting, snatching, theft, cheating, or deprivation of something. The mice can also be about misgivings, hidden problems, deterioration, fear, or a lack of something. This is the Obsession card as well as the Nagging card. So what I get from that is that basically you feel like if you don't have wealth, you think other people judge you by your wealth as well because that's how you have judged people, and you feel like if you don't have anything, nobody's gonna want to fuck with you. It's kind of like giving pauper vibes. You probably need to find that balance of like, again, that flexibility, that balance of like, I can take this and leave that. I don't know. I can buy this diamond ring from Zales if I want to, but that don't mean I have to go to freaking Africa and watch somebody pick it up fresh off the thing like this was a whole trip and brag about it and act like I did something awesome when really I didn't. And people are probably looking at me crazy. So it seems like you probably are already aware that you have a materialistic group of friends or a materialistic outlook on the world, and you're probably like, yo, should I really be like this? Because maybe something has awakened you to be like, everybody don't have it like this. It shouldn't be like this, or it shouldn't always be like this, but I can't help that I'm like that. And then also, you have the home card, which speaks to like, you look at materialistic things as a form of security. You need to have financial security. That's a big thing for you. And granted, I get it. Living in today's world, there's not much you can do without having financial security. But being financially secure and overflowing with financial support is 2 different things. You don't have to be comfortable. You can be well off. You can be making more than you probably know what to do with it, but probably be careful in where you spend it or how you spend it. Maybe you have a bad spending habit kind of thing because you feel like it's always coming in, but you probably aren't saving up or doing the right thing with your money, your materialistic items, in order to, set up for retirement or for your children if you are thinking about having them. And you're probably going to end up repeating that pattern with your kids. So the outcome to me is kind of like, if you don't change your attitude on materialistic wealth, you are going to end up passing that same trauma off to your children, or it's going to become like a family curse. Like it's going to be a thing. Like, yes, it's going to be, it Midas touch. I want to be the king. I want to be known as the man who, whatever I touch, it turns to gold. But at the same time, I turned my wife and my daughter into gold, and now I can't enjoy their warmth. I can't enjoy their presence. I'm not living in the moment because I'm too busy chasing what I think wealth look, or what it should look like, or what I've been taught it looks like, or what the world tells me wealth looks like. And I'm not enjoying the work. I'm not enjoying the moment. I'm not enjoying what I actually have. I'm not expressing gratitude for what I have and being thankful for it. And that's kind of like what that's giving me. And I will say, I think, just a heads up, a warning, if you do come from wealth, as I'm getting from this, you might want to watch what you're doing. Because I feel like you're going to have some property come in and either, or, you know, an inheritance come in, and you're either going to blow through it in a terrible way, or if you actually start teaching yourself some kind of restraint, some discipline now, you can start to see that multiply even more. Like, obviously, you're a person, like, when you do things, when you touch things, when you create, it's going to bring you what you need. But when you put it back out in the world, are you? What is your intent? What is the energy that you're putting off? How do you come off to people? Not that other people's opinions really matter per se, but, you know, energy is a thing that is cyclical. You put it out there, it's going to come back to you. So I think it's really just kind of like, I think you need to be careful on how you treat people, because I could definitely see that being a thing that could come back later and biting you in the butt. Or maybe your parents is like, oh no, we see how you are spending this money and we not leaving you shit, because who knows what you gonna do with this. You kind of give me like legacy vibes. You come from a strong tradition, a strong line of people, you know, who have always made it work, or, you know, they've sacrificed to provide for the next generation and the next and the next and the next. And they don't see you doing the same thing. And so they're going to be like, oh, well, we got to pull up because they're not showing that they're responsible. So that's what that's giving me. Yes. I definitely would say change your overall pattern with how, ooh, look at that. It went out on you, girl. The candle went out on you. So I'm just saying, and this is, well, I ain't gonna light it again either. Maybe I will for the next group. But yeah, just be careful, basically, is what I'm getting. Like, be better with your materialistic items, your materialistic riches, your abundance. I think you spiritually, you need some grounding. You need some recognition. You need a great awakening to help you turn shit around. Or otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a position where you're going to end up either losing it all, somebody's stealing it from you, somebody is not going to give it to you, somebody's going to take it away, or somebody's going to use you and you're going to be left out in the cold, kind of thing is what that gives me. So, yeah. And I would say definitely be more careful in who you are letting into your inner circle, who you are letting in around you. Because, you know, when you're, especially like here in America, I would say most places. I will argue with most places in the world. When you're somebody who is of worth, of wealth, of value, and you don't know what your value, but other people do, and they tell you, they may downplay you, because at the end of the day, you can be bought too if you're stupid enough. You can be bought too, and you will diminish your value, and they will be friends with you, and they will use you, and here you are with nothing, and they're not turning around to help you either. So that is your childhood wound. It is definitely some shit where you just you had all the stuff on the outside that seemed like it mattered, all the flashy things, but you didn't have it where you needed it, where it mattered most. And yeah, now you kind of have to just deal with it and grow with it. And you're probably struggling with a lot of your relationships. A lot of people probably have come and gone in your life. And you're probably wondering, like, is it really me? Because in all these situations, I seem to be a repeating thing of, like, why people are leaving. And I think you're waking up to it. But this is just your confirmation. Yes, it's you. There's some healing you need to do. And there's some reprogramming. There's some reprogramming that's ahead for you that you need to change, that you need to do. And you seem like you're a dope-ass person, like you don't do it intentionally or with malicious intent, but you just come off that way. That's how you're raised. That's what you do. You just move in a different, you breeze through life in a different manner because you just don't think of it like that. That's not what you were taught. And so I think there's some things that you need to see within yourself of how you handle things. I mean, even in spirit self, it's holding a golden apple. Like, you need to stop worrying about being flashy and all this other stuff because you have money. Like, do what you need to do. Set yourself up. Pass on that legacy. Be more careful with who you're letting in your circle. Be more responsible and more intentional about where you are spending your money. Because at the end of the day, okay, yeah, you got wealth, but what is the mark that you're leaving on the world? Oh yeah, I know so-and-so. I knew the creator. Yeah, I knew what the creator was doing. They was an awesome person, but there's not a school named after you. There's not a scholarship named after you. There's not some kind of charity work that you did. There's not. You probably didn't hold a stable job to save your life because you felt like you were just too good for it. Like, what is your mark that you're leaving on the world, and what do you want people to remember you for? You don't want to be where it's at your funeral and there's 3 people and they talking about, oh, I remember that one time we was at that party where they popped all the bottles, and that's the only thing they can think of you for. They can't tell you about any of the things that you want people to know you for, that you're worth knowing for. You get what I'm saying? Your actual true character. So, this person didn't leave a legacy of, like, good art behind them. They didn't leave a legacy of we know who they are through their autobiography or their book or their TED Talk that they did. We don't know them for anything that they actually contributed. We don't know, they didn't contribute to research or to some, and not saying it has to be something grand like that, but, like, you didn't even contribute in your neighborhood kind of thing. Like, we didn't even know we didn't even know that they lived in this neighborhood. Like, who are they? So just kind of, like, think about the lasting mark that you want to leave on the world. And yeah, that's what I'm getting for you all. Not to be preachy, but yours don't seem that bad. I was expecting this to get a little heavier, but for childhood traumas. But again, the childhood trauma isn't the dark part. It's the way that you're carrying it through and is bleeding over into other parts of your life. That is the dark part, because that can go left real fast. So that's all I have for you, Power One. Not picking up on any other messages that definitely just kind of like jumped out to me for sure. So I would say, yes, keep on creating. Be intentional with your creations. Stop being materialistic. Stop, I guess, like, feeling like you have to compete with other people because there's no reason. Like, you have your shit together and just move forward. Just be careful who you are letting in around you now is my advice. And with that, I am going to move on to Pile 2, the Starborns. Okay. Hello, welcome back, Pile 2. If you pick this pile, I feel like there's some shedding maybe that's going to happen. But we'll see. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Right now, I am going to get into what your childhood trauma is. Again, if you clicked here and you're starting to have second thoughts, because this can get dark, this can go left, maybe it could bring up some triggering things for you, this is now the time to click off. I ain't revealed nothing. I ain't spoke nothing. So, this your opportunity. This your time. Get this tuned to the Pile 2 energy, and we're going to go into this. So just give me a second. Give you a second to click off if you need to, just in case. I can't tell you what's going to come up. This is not pre-recorded. This is not planned. So what comes up, comes up. So just giving you a minute. All right. And so for my Pile 2s, the Starborns, what childhood trauma are they dealing with? My Pile 2s, the Starborns, what childhood traumas are they dealing with? What are my Pile 2s, the Starborn? What childhood trauma are they dealing with? My Pile 2s, the Starborn. What childhood traumas? That says a lot, don't it? I just get a lot of breaking. Starborn's childhood trauma. What is the Starborn's childhood trauma? What is the Starborn's childhood trauma? What is the Starborn's childhood trauma? I get some clarifying cards on what the Starborn's childhood trauma is. And that comes out. So you have the Three of Swords and then the Empress. So this is the what. Now I need to know the why, who. Who caused this childhood trauma for my Starborns? Who caused this childhood trauma to my Starborns? Who caused this childhood trauma to my Starborns? Who caused this childhood trauma to my Starborns? I think that was everything that was supposed to come out for you, huh? Ooh. Okay, so first we seen this one. Okay, so there was the 10 of Sticks, 10 of Coins, and then the Garden. Trigger warning, trigger word coming. Abandonment is the word. Abandonment is the word that's coming up for me. Let's see. Why did this abandonment happen? Okay. Why did this abandonment happen? I feel like this is supposed to be there because it flipped over, but let's see. I'm just going to scrap this. We're going to see again. You've seen what cards there were. We're going to try this again. Why did this abandonment happen to my Starborns? 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 Ooh. This abandonment happened to my Starborns. I don't know why this abandonment happened to my Starborns. You have the World twice. If anyone who doesn't have the HooDoo deck, the Garden is the World. So you are not confused. You're not lost. So you have the World card and the Hermit. Oops, I flipped over. Okay, I don't know. I I'm not going to count that one. These two flew out, though. I'm going to scrap these. I don't think these are supposed to be here for what I'm getting. I think those are just, like, flubs. Okay, but why is this Empress card here? Why is this Empress card here? I'm gonna need to cleanse these cards because whatever is just wanting to drop out. Okay, nope, let's try something else. Let's try a different one. Why is this world card here? Come on now. Why is this world card here? It's just so much shit that want to come out. Okay, this fell first. Okay. Why is this Hermit card here? Why is this Hermit card here? Empress card here? Why is this Empress card here? Okay, let's see. Yeah, so this speaks to a mother wound for me. Your childhood trauma seems to take place with your mom. And maybe there was some abandonment there. Shared breath in the Empress here makes me think of like, yeah, this definitely was something maternal. And their relationship just, whether it's tumultuous, it ended badly, it started badly, it isn't a happy thing, it doesn't bring up happy memories for you. That's what the childhood trauma is bringing up for me. Now, for why it's happened, for like who caused it, it kind of says it here, but then you also see a woman here. A lot of us, our moms are our world. They're the first figure, contact, person, entity, energy, whatever you want, however you want to say, that we have contact with. And when we are not being nurtured or cared for by them and we're abandoned, because this just gives me like abandoned, like it almost kind of makes me feel like maybe you were an adoptee, or adopted, and it could have happened later, not say just like at birth. It could have happened later, or maybe here you are later and you have found out like, I actually am adopted and I don't know who my mother is. I don't know who this person is. And you have a sense of like feeling abandoned, of feeling discarded, of feeling worthless, of not feeling needed. And so why this happened, it just seems to me like I get a couple of things. And this is in regard to the step out of the picture. It gives me that the spouse or the people, the family involved, didn't want your mom to kind of go through with the pregnancy, or it was probably a call for an abortion or something like that. It's kind of like what this gives me. the inflammatory response in the world, yeah, and it makes me feel like maybe your mom didn't want to give you up. I would say that, or maybe it was a tough decision, but it was the necessary decision, if that makes sense. And I think it was definitely a thing of kind of like retreating into herself, or maybe you are retreating into yourself. Maybe you and your maternal figure or your egg donor or whatever you want to call them in this situation just felt like they had to retreat into themselves, or because they were a lonesome person, you know, they were left alone in this, in having you. They just felt like it probably wasn't the right thing to do to bring you up in a single parent household. And so they felt probably like the best decision, because of monetary, maybe even, it was just probably best to just give you up for adoption or to separate from you. It was, I feel like it was an underlying thing of kind of like either family reputation or maybe some financial thing came into the picture here. Woosah, breathe. I know that could be triggering, and gotta breathe through that. And I can definitely see how that would be heartbreaking for you as well. You know, either finding that out later or knowing it from the beginning, and then kind of like growing up and you wonder, you going back and forth on whether or not to reconnect with this person or not. Is it even worth it? Yeah, that's really what I'm getting for you. And so now I just kind of want to see what I did a short thing at the end of just kind of like, let's see here. I really need to ask this. It's not gonna let me sleep right if I don't. This is big deck energy, okay? This is a big deck. This tea leaves, okay? So, excuse me for the stupid shuffling. That's how I'll have to do it. So why is the garden here? Why is the garden here? Why is the garden here? Okay. I know. Can I know why the garden is here? I know why the garden is here. Okay. Let's see here. Because I tried these cards earlier and I was getting crazy things. So. Yeah, that makes sense. The garden, you got the spear. Heartache over what you no longer have. You have the heartache here. You're definitely mourning not having that person, that presence, that family in your life. I also got the pail, which also brings of water. It kind of reminds me of this 5 of baskets, you know, spilled milk. Maybe you were told this in a fucked up time. Like, again, if I'm picking up on the proper energy, if you were adopted, or you're in foster care or something like that, maybe your foster parents or your adoptive parents probably, or a sibling or something probably told you at a fucked up time, or you found out like at a hospital kind of thing, and you know that whole conversation had to be had, and it blew your world up. It blew your world up. So you found out in a fucked up way. And now you're kind of like going down a rabbit hole of like the what ifs and the whys and the who were these people and who am I, just kind of like questioning everything about yourself. And it just says it's time to get out of that situation. So it just makes me think of like, if the case is that you are in a household with people that adopted you or that have fostered you, and it's not a healthy situation either, maybe it's speaking to that, or it could just be a thing of like, if these people who have adopted you and fostered you, of like not treating them with disrespect or hating on them because you can't actually take your anger out at the person that you want to, these parents or this mother that you are separated from. Like, why did this happen? And you're lashing out at them. Get out your mind and like be and be, you know, respectful, apologize, try to be understanding. I get it. It can be hard. But that's kind of just like what that's giving me. And then it also gave you the grasshopper, situations in the balance that require careful handling, which definitely makes sense if this is like an adoption kind of thing. Most likely, if it was something, it gives me like maybe it was like some kind of closed adoption kind of thing. If it was something like that, most likely the parent isn't trying to be found, whether that's, you know, they didn't want you to have contact with them because it was hard for them, and you could be bringing up old wounds. Or even if it's a case of that you do know who they are and they wanted you to reach out, it could probably still be a thing of like you could bring up wounds and things that they don't want to kind of relive, or regrets, relationships and situations. So this definitely makes sense for me here. All of those for the who's and the whys and the what's and why the garden is there. And again, this really speaks to like a deep heart wound. This speaks to a lot of breaking. This speaks to abandonment, a lot of shattering, of world altering kind of things. So yeah, I could definitely see how that would be a thing. So let's see here. What is the problem with how your childhood trauma is showing up in your life? What is the problem with how your childhood problem is showing up in your life? What is the issue on how your childhood trauma? So this gives me guarded, locked up. The problem is you probably are closed off, and that's probably why this hermit is here as well. Maybe it's something hereditary. Maybe it's something you share with your people. No? It's just kind of like, you probably have been like the quiet one in the family. Everybody's like, oh, you're the widow because you're the only quiet one in your foster or adopted family. But it could just be something like, I just come from quiet people. Maybe that's actually something that could be genetic. But it just gets like, maybe, it also kind of gives me like, maybe you aren't actually being honest and evaluating yourself either. You're just keeping everything bottled up. And you're trying to think it all through on your own, and you don't need to. What would be the solution to your childhood trauma and how it shows up in the world? What is the solution to your childhood trauma and how it shows up in the world? It slid under the table. Let's see. Oh, my hair scared me. So the 6 of diamonds, or the 6 of this, it could speak to reciprocity, or in the Lenormand deck, it speaks to the 4-leaf clover, which typically most people think of it as luck. And yeah, that would definitely make sense when you think of it like that, of how your solution could work. A lot of this just is up to luck. It's a game of chance. Think about how often a lot of how our life is set up, or how we move through the world, or how how we progress in life is based on the simple luck of where we were born, who we were born to, the zip code we're in, etc. What part of the world we were born into, and the parents that we were born to. In that sense, it could definitely, and from that view, it makes sense of kind of like how your solution is. A lot of this is luck. Even if you don't want to see it this way, you're still lucky to be here as well. Because if it's the kind of situation where like your parents were fleeing some war-torn country, or you came from some up and coming and wealthy family, and your mom was the stain or the black sheep to the family, or it was just the father died, or didn't want you, or whatever the circumstances it is between your birth parents, you're still lucky to be here and have that foster family and to go through this. You're still lucky to have the friends or the people around you that you have. And so in that sense, I can see how the solution could be luck, meeting them again, or having to meet her, or reaching out and researching this thing, DNA ancestry or whatever, even though I highly don't recommend those, but that's my own personal interjections. Again, it boils down to luck. You just need to keep hope alive. You need to be hopeful. You need to kind of like put that wish out there. A lot of it does boil down to luck. It's just, you know, be happy for where you come from. Yeah, it just speaks to like good luck, serendipity, or what's the word? Serendipitous, something like that. You know, surprise chances and opportunities. So yeah, that makes sense of like what your solution is. It just seems like it's all up to chance, and that may not be what you want, but just that it happen and unfold the way it should, because maybe it's going to be, you know, it's part of your grand design, so to speak. Let's see, what is going to be the outcome of your childhood solution in the world? What's going to be the outcome of your childhood trauma in the world? So again, to me, this is it's also the Six of Hearts. Sixes, huh? Did you have six anywhere else? No. Okay, so you got the Six of Diamonds, which is the Six of Coins, and then you also have the Six of Hearts, which would be the Six of Cups. We were talking tarot. But in this case, it's number 15 in the Lenormand deck, which speaks to the star. And anytime I think of the star, it's like wishful thinking, wish fulfillment, hope, all these things. So I have to make an amendment to what I said now that I see the star card here and it's in reverse, oddly enough. I think you should also consider the alternative that you were lucky enough not to be born to that, can I say birth mother, first mother, egg donor, person, spirit, whatever. Maybe it removed you out of a situation. You were lucky enough not to be in that situation, to be there, because who knows what's going on with those people and things that that contributed to her choice, and in putting you up for adoption, or, you know, handing you off to a family member, or not being in the picture, or separating from you. I'm just going to say separating, for separating from you in the first place. Maybe you were lucky not to be with her. Because this star card is in reverse, and so it's just saying like, yes, it's cool to be hopeful, but don't think that you're going to meet this person, or whatever the outcome that you're hoping for, don't think is actually going to happen. Maybe it was for a reason that you two didn't meet, that you weren't raised by this person, and that you aren't in their presence. Does this make sense? And so maybe it was a good thing. It was, and again, share breath. Hold on, let's look at that. Share breath in the clover. Looks very similar, right? Just green pastures, green. Maybe it's okay that y'all didn't meet. Maybe it was meant for you to walk down this path of not being, of being separated from this bringer of life, that, this person who gave you your first breaths in the world. So, yeah, I think that's just kind of like the outcome that I'm getting. Like, maybe you don't want to meet this person, or maybe it was a good thing that you were removed from this person. And on the flip side, it could also mean that maybe you aren't hopeful, and so you're not acting on it appropriately in order to meet this person. You're probably going about it very like you're trying to hammer everything in, and you need to know how to switch up that touch kind of thing. Yeah. I could definitely see some resentment also in this as well, which is completely understandable. I'm not faulting you for that, but it's just kind of like you need to go on this with the open mind, and maybe there's some growing and things you need to do with yourself first, a bit of healing you need to do with yourself first, some confirmation, some affirmation in who you are, you know, whether you were giving separated or not from your parent, that does not define who you are completely as a person. Who you were raised by, how you were raised, and how you go about treating people in the world is a big determining factor. So that's what I'm getting from this reading. I know that could definitely seem triggering, but that is kind of like what I was getting. To me, this is definitely giving like, if I had any advice for you and I have not been in this situation, so I'm not going to pretend like I know any better. It's just definitely giving like, you need to ground yourself. You need to prepare yourself for whatever the outcome is, whether you meet this birth giver or not, or bringer. You need to prepare yourself on whether or not you are okay with meeting this person or not. And if you meet this person, if they turn out to be who you thought they were or not, if you don't meet this person, how is that going to determine how you move through the world? Are you going to go through just breaking other people because you're hurt people, or are you going to, continue to be the kind, warm-hearted person that you can be as well, is what I get. So, I think there's just some deep thoughts that you need to do on your own, with yourself, and maybe you need to tag in, maybe other, separated children that have been in your same predicament and kind of like what they went through, or speaking to a therapist and so forth. And maybe even, something like a lawyer or anything like that you probably may need to get feedback on how to proceed forward and if it's even worth it. So, yeah, that's just kind of like what I'm getting for you. My heart goes out to you. I hope this helps a little bit, and hope it wasn't too triggering again. So, yeah, that's all I have for you, my Starborns. And I think that should tell you within itself, you're Starborn. So whether you were born to this birth giver or, regardless of who your birth parent was, the people who raised you or who you are going, walking through life as and things like that, you're probably better off for it. You're probably lucky for it. And it puts you in a better position in how to maneuver and deal with the world around you. And so don't let that one crack be your defining characteristic. You get what I'm saying? Don't make that your whole personality. So, yeah, that's what I have for you. And with that, I send you love and light. And I, again, hope this wasn't too triggering for you. I hope this helps you heal. I hope this helps kind of give you some answers on how to proceed forward and help you work through some things. So with that, I'm going to wrap up with you, Pile 2, and I'm going to move on to Pile 3. Here we are with Pile 3. We are on our dead ends. The dead end. Automatically, this gives me this is going to get dark and heavy up in here. This gives me some stuff is coming to an end. So, again, like I done with the other piles, and even at the beginning of this, just because you clicked on this pile, you can always come back later. You know which one you chose now. You know which one you resonated with. If you need to click off, if you have decided that, actually, on second thought, I don't think I really want to deal with this. This is your time to click off. But other than that, if you're ready to get into this thing, we're going to start off with your childhood traumas, the dead ends, and we're going to see what you all are dealing with. All right, Pile 3. Just give a moment to ground yourself as I shuffle these cards. Just I'm just going to shuffle this 3 times to get it tuned to your 3rd pile energy. I dropped the card. Okay. All right. What is the childhood trauma that my pile 3s, the dead ends, are dealing with? What is the childhood trauma that my pile 3s, the dead ends, are dealing with? Do I have any clarifying cards for my pile 3s, the dead ends? My ears are ringing. Hold on. Oh, maybe it was telling me to stop and look at this because it was 2 that popped out. Ooh, Judgment and 4 of Cups. Before I say anything else, before I say what initially came to me. Alright, pile 3. I see you gonna be the one tonight. Alright. Again, shuffling this 3 times to get it tuned to your pile 3 energy. Alright. Who causes trauma to my dead ends, my pile 3s? So we have the 6 of Knives, we have the 9 of Baskets, and then we have the Strength card. And just sit this here like so. Okay, let's see. Again, I'm going to shuffle, and now we're going to ask why. We are going to ask why my pile 3s. Why did this trauma happen to my pile 3s, the dead ends? Why did this trauma happen to my pile 3s, the dead ends? Do I have any clarifying cards on why the pile 3s, my dead ends, the dead end? People. Why, people? Okay. What is the message that the Page of Coins have for us? What is the message that the Page of Coins have for us? What is the message that the Page of Coins have for us? What message does the Page of Coins have for us? We have the 5 of Wands. What message does the Page of Cups have for my pile 3s? What message does the Page of Cups? 3 of Cups. Why is this Judgment card here for my pile 3s? Okay. Why is this Judgment card here for my pile 3s? So I will start off by saying it's definitely something emotional, feels like to me, because you have a lot of cups, water, baskets energy. You have the 9 of Baskets, which is kind of like, it speaks to independence. And then you have the Four of Cups. I usually think of like boredom, usually when I see the Four of Cups, but I don't know yet. I'm not deciphering everything right now. You have the intuitive navigation, which is on water. And you also have the Page and Three of Cups. So, why is this strength card here for my power threes? Why is this strength card? This is starting to read like it's a you. You're the reason why this childhood trauma happened. All right, excuse the interruption. I had to take care of the babies. Okay, so back into this thing. So why is the wheel card here for my power threes? Why is the wheel card here for my power threes? Why is the blue card here for my power threes? Okay, I'm really confused on why the Judgment card is here for you. I'm thinking of like a death traumatized you, but I feel like the Death card would come out. Some kind of person who was like very important to you leaving is kind of like what I'm getting for your childhood trauma, and it maybe like some depression or something kind of set in, but no more. Okay, why is Judgment here? I'm gonna check that one in a minute. I'll see. This doesn't make sense. Okay. Yeah, that kind of seals it for me. So my dead ends, and it makes sense why this comes up, but wow, so young. It gives me, there was a death, and I really want to say it's of a grandmother possibly, because I have older women. I see Judgment here. Not to mention your card that called to you was the Dead End. I also see intuitive navigation. So it kind of makes me think of like sailing down the river. And I'm gonna cut it off there. And then I also have dogs. So I think it was somebody, whether it was a mother, it was somebody maternal. I'm gonna say grandmother though, that gave you a sense of protection, that was there for you. And when their untimely call came, it really hit you harder than you expected, or that anyone expected, or that you wanted to even recognize, is what I'm getting for your childhood trauma. And I think it kind of set up some depressive, or like you not being excited about life. You're not not wanting to kind of continue kind of thing is what this Four of Cups give me. It gives me very like, what do they usually call that? Like, not wanting, like despondent is the word. Like you became despondent. Let's see here. You have the 9th. So yeah, why this happened? Who caused this? Basically, in a sense, did you hear that wind? Okay, so basically, in a sense, it's giving you that this, you are the reason why your childhood trauma happened. You did not grieve. You did not grieve. You did not choose to live on. You did not choose to move, not live on. You did not choose to actually like live, and you did not choose to move on. You kind of been forced into this. So yeah, it again going back, it gives me like this is a you thing. There's some like, of course, there's only, your parents can be there for you, friends or whatever. But if you truly in the end are not doing the work to heal and move forward from this, this gives me like you need to bring back the will, the strength to live. You are not having that strength. You are not choosing to move forward and to grieve and to deal with this death that happened when you were young that really triggered you. This person that you lost. Ooh, look at my candle. Is this person trying to tell you something? I'm not trying to hold no seances now. I'm a little nervy. Okay. Moving forward, can I at least get through this? So moving forward, the why of this happening, it just gives me like, did this person meet their untimely demise because of rifts in the family? Or maybe you feel like you didn't spend enough time with this person even though you really liked them, but you were separated from them. Because you have the 5 of Wands and the 3 of Cups in reverse. Usually the 3 of Cups, when I think of that, it's like friendships, relationships, harmony. 3 is the crowd, or another person in this situation. And then you also have the 5 of Wands, which usually means struggle, combative, battle. I think of things like that. It kind of gives me like, was your mother or these 2 maternal figures that played a big role in your life, or you and this maternal figure had some kind of falling out. This doesn't really feel like childhood trauma to me. This feels like something like could have happened in like college or maybe middle school, high school kind of thing. Like maybe this isn't like childhood, but like you were probably a little older and knew a little better. But I'm so sorry for all the noise. But for whatever reason, you kind of got into altercation and this person left and you didn't have that time to mourn and grieve or say what you wanted to them. That's what this is giving me. And if I'm laughing, it's just nervous laughter. I promise you. Again, spirit of spirit I got for the wheel, which speaks to experimental inquiry. It kind of makes me feel like you felt like you needed to test your boundaries, or maybe you got into some kind of argument that you felt like you had to prove your point. And it's like, okay, but again, on this, it shows you, it kind of gives me that one argument cost you so much more because of, like, that one argument cost you so much more because of all of the things that's here. And it's like, okay, well, things are balanced now. How do you feel? And to me, it kind of gives me, like, some last words were spoken that you regret and that you wish you could take back. Take a minute. I promise you I'm almost done. I'm going to just kind of like brush through this because I could see this being hard. But I do want to leave you with like a healing message. Okay, if you are the spirit of this loved one who has passed on prematurely, this is your time to tell my pile 3, the dead end, kind of what you wanted to tell them. I'm just tuned to the energy. I want you to come in and I'm allowing you to come into this space to say what you need to say. Okay. What healing messages do you have for my pile 3s, the dead ends? What healing messages do you have for my pile 3s, the dead ends? What messages do you have? Ooh, it's flickering, baby. What messages do you have for my pile 3s, the dead ends? Ooh, look at that. Is that 3 cards? Look at that, and they give you 3 cards. Pile 3, 3 cards. I'm assuming it's you, baby, so I'm just going to relay it. False beliefs, which automatically makes me think, going back to that thing again, some beliefs or some words were said in those days leading up to it, led to a tumultuous relationship, and you haven't given your time yourself to grieve, or you blame yourself. Ooh, excuse me, I'm sorry, I should not be getting emotional. But or you blame yourself, and you are, this person don't want to see you doing it. Do not believe that you are the reason. Do not believe you are the reason. A lot of these are very dark, and kind of like runaway, despondent, lethargic is kind of like the other word I want to say. But I got distorted desire. Conscious desire rarely satisfies the unconscious need driving it. So that makes me think like maybe you are satisfying your true desires or acting out in some kind of way that is not actually satisfying or helping you heal and move forward from this untimely passing. And you aren't taking time again to heal and grieve and seek help. Seek a shoulder to cry on. Reliving the happy times that you had, or actually knowing that it isn't your fault, kind of thing. And then empty. I got the ending and beginning lie at either side of the same door. So, yeah, I think this person is definitely telling you, are you pregnant or expecting, pile 3? Is that what's probably bringing this up for you? Is that a yes? I know this is probably going to sound weird, but maybe that person that moved out of your life, maybe they're coming back to you in another form. I just say that because in Emptied, I honed in on like this glowing spot in her belly. It just makes me think of like pregnancy, or maybe you are having some health issues yourself, and maybe it's I feel like the 2 things it could be for me is that this person is, if you believe in what they call it, being reborn, of reincarnations, this person is probably coming back to you in a reincarnation of your child that you're expecting. But if on the other side, it could also be maybe you are going through something health-wise, fibroids, endometriosis, whatever, and maybe it's alerting you to some things that maybe this person was keeping from you at the time of their untimely passing, that could have actually been the real reason of why they passed, and they probably just didn't tell you, kind of thing. That's the 2 sides of the coins that I'm thinking of. And so maybe with you going through this whole health thing, you're probably understanding, and they probably just was probably trying to shield you from things or wanting to spend more time with you. And you were probably this teenager like, nah, I want to be outside drinking and be with my friends. Like, stop talking to me. And yeah, that's what it's giving me. Should I go further? Ooh. Okay. Nope, let me shuffle this up real quick. my pile threes. What is the problem with how their childhood trauma? Okay, let's see here. Okay, what is this? We ain't flipping out like that now. What is the solution to my pile threes trauma? What is the solution to my pile threes trauma? What is the outcome of my pile threes trauma? Okay, so this makes me think is the problem with your childhood trauma is that you are not compartmentalizing it. And I know that sounds probably like harsh or weird to say about somebody who has died, but maybe you have, it's been showing up in your life in a way of like, you're lashing out at the wrong people, or you're repeating those same things, or you're secluding yourself, you're cut off from things. You are, you're lonely, you're feeling above the clouds, your ego has gotten in the way because you refuse to have other people, kind of get close, and you're not being checked. That's what this gives me. And then you also have, the garden, which usually like represents like the solution. Is saying that you haven't been doing this. It feels like you haven't been in contact or in close proximity or in relations or whatever it may be with the proper network or people that will help you heal, if that makes sense. And so the solution for you is kind of just stop thinking you're going to find a healing space in clubs or at a bar or in, loving people that you are sharing your love with. Like, no, that it needs to come from internally. You need to actually work that through with somebody. You're not going to heal from this premature death by finding some other mother figure, or whether that's in your partner or significant other or friends or some other kind of elderly woman that is in your life. Like, stop thinking you're going to find it there. That is not the solution. To me, this gives me like, you feel like you found the solution when you have the garden, but it's mirage. It's false advertisement. It's not really true. So it just kind of gives me like, you need to bring in more healing space, or maybe you need to seclude yourself in order to find the healing and actually think back on things and work it out. And so then you also get the woman for the outcome, and really just makes me feel like you are going to become a whole and better woman. You are going to become a better friend, partner, mother, significant other, wife, did I say friends? Auntie, whatever that may be. You are going to be, whatever title you want to take on with your, becoming a better woman. It just kind of leads me to like, you are going to become a better woman if you actually, lover, neighbor, just period overall. It gives me like, you will become a better woman, and maybe because of like this loss, or you being in contention with this person or whatever, and it led to this loss, like maybe you have a sister or something like that you also have fallen out with because of the premature timing or passing of this person. It gives me like, maybe you can even reconnect with them as well when I see this card. But whoever the woman is, whether it's you or reconnecting with someone else that you've kind of cut off relationships with, that can be your outcome if you actually focus on healing yourself and giving back into yourself and being strong, actually working through this. And I think ultimately that's what you want. Where I'm getting from this is that you are becoming a parent yourself, and you're probably understanding or you're going through health-wise what that person was going through, and you couldn't sympathize at the time, and you miss them now, and now you understand because you're walking that path. Like, don't think you were the problem, or you caused it, or you were the catalyst or the fuel or whatever to it. I don't think this person wants you to think that either. And to stop thinking who you are, all the bad things about yourself that you think you do, and stop looking for. Yeah, when I see this distorted desire right now, when I see this like running away, it kind of reminds me of like looking for love in all the wrong places. Like, stop looking for love in all the wrong places. Stop looking for validation in all the wrong places. This guard in the reverse also gives me that as well. Like, you have been trying to put a band-aid on it, clubbing or sleeping with people in order to have a quick fix for the real hurt and pain that you're going through, instead of actually doing the dirty work. Yeah, that's all I have for you, my dead ends, my number 3s. This, with you choosing this as well, it kind of gives me like, you kind of know some things has to change. It gives me like, if you don't know things are about to change, life is definitely going to tell you things need to change, because shit is about to shake up with you. And so, like, get that together and cut away what you need to, because it's time to heal. Because I see like you are about to repeat some of the same things if you do not change it around with whoever this loved one or this life that you're about to bring in. So, yeah, it doesn't really read childhood trauma to me. It just kind of reads like adolescent, young trauma. But I'm rolling with it. I'm just telling you what I get. And with that, I definitely do hope things turn up well for you. I hope things go well for you and your child, or, in your health. I definitely hope that you find all the answers in abundance and things and hopes and protections, because I definitely feel like you're feeling unprotected right now. All the protection and things that you need in your life right now in order to get through this. So, yeah. That's all I have for you, Pile 3s, and I am going to move on to Pile 4. Alright, here we go, my Pile 4s, TheBridge. I need to mark this here. So my Pile 4s, TheBridge. This is my reading for you all as we begin. Again, just as I've done with the previous piles, I'm giving you a moment. Just because you chose this pile, don't mean you have to go through this. Feel free to click off at any time something just gets too much for you. Come back later, or don't come back at all. But I also want to give you a moment before I get into this reading. If you want to click off or stop right now, you can do so. But other than that, I'm going to get started on what your childhood trauma is by going through these, shuffling them 4 times to get them resonated to your energy, and then I'm going to see what we get for my bridges, the Pile 4s. Okay. That was kind of a bad shuffle though. What is the childhood trauma that my Pile 4s, the bridges, are dealing with? What is the childhood trauma my Pile 4s, the bridges, are dealing with? What is the trauma that my Pile 4s, the bridges, are dealing with? What is the childhood trauma my Pile 4s, the bridges, are dealing with? I got 2 for the price of 1. So I have the 10 of coins and then best friends. Ooh, this sounds like some best friend shit. Let's see. Who caused this? In this deck, what is this? I forgot the name of this deck. So in this tarot for kids deck, best friends is also lovers, but I'm going to stick with what it has because this is speaking to childhood trauma, unless I get some cards that later speak to, like, nah, sis, it's lovers energy. And that's also why they have apples in the picture, you know, kind of going back to the Adam and Eve story. So who causes trauma to my power force? You know what? Nope, I'm gonna stick it. Something tells me go through it and see what I get. Okay, why? Let's get into. I gotta watch my time here because I gotta empty out the memory on this card. One more time for my bridges. Why did this trauma happen to my... All of your stuff keep coming out first time. Why did this trauma happen to my bridges, my power force? Let's see, look, here's another one. It just flipped over in here. All of your stuff is just popping out first time. Where'd that card go? All these swords, yeah. Is the battery running low too? Alright. Alright. Why is the best friends card here? So this is giving me a time, April. Or is it a name? Why is Miss Robinson here? Let me try this other deck. Let's see here. Where's the best friend's card here? Where's the best friend's card here from the power force? Oh, I held it up so leap of faith. Why is Miss Robinson that card here? Green Sacred. Give me a minute to sit with this, and I need to do some rebooting with my camera. I'm sorry I have to cut this short, but I will be right back after these messages. Sorry about that, and we're back. Okay. So my pile 4 is the bridge. I need to understand why Mrs. Robinson is here. Okay. Why? Come on. Not again. Okay, why is Miss Robinson here? Oh, again, excuse me for the mix-up and the move around. I had to stop to recharge my camera. So I'm just leaving back off to where we were. So why is Miss Robinson here? Why is Miss Robinson here? Nothing is wanting to come out. Okay, so maybe that's not the deck. Okay. This gives me some moving on, some a friendship loss, a change that happened. The bridge. I also have the rainbow colors here as well. It do show two people who were separated. Whether that's by your families, by water, by, country, by distance, by time, by whatever, circumstances and things like that. Maybe April is relevant timing for when this happened. Your childhood trauma gives me that, yeah, you even have a leap of faith here. Like you jumping off and like moving away or descending into something. So to me, it seems like you, there was some kind of childhood trauma involving either, it's some kind of relationship for sure, but I would say probably like a friendship or something like that. There was a unwanted separation in a friendship or relationship that you had. Because even in this 10 of Coins usually is like a reuniting of families. But in this particular, for the tarot for kids, it shows, these three people walking away and this old man is left with his doll. In this deck, also the best friends, they aren't facing forward as if they're, coming back. It's looking like they're walking away from something, like you left something. So to me, this speaks of like a separation of some detrimental relationship that you had, or from a friendship that was like really powerful or impacting to you. And I also wonder if maybe some additional people got involved in this as well, because you have compliments from an admirer. So I don't know if it was like maybe you moved on because you felt like you had something better and it really wasn't. To me, I'm seeing two people here. It makes me think of like, so just to kind of give you a backstory on Mrs. Robinson's story. Miss Robinson's story in the HooDoo deck is that basically she was running some shop. She was some kind of business owner, and this lady was saying that she was doing, bad practices or whatever at her business, and the lady was speaking bad about her. And apparently they feel that Miss Robinson's jinxed the lady because the only precious thing that she had was her son. And soon enough, her son died, and Miss Robinson attended the funeral, and people could have sworn she was smirking in the back of the funeral. So this almost makes me think that maybe somebody else got in between the relationship that you had and either started nasty rumors or just was purposely trying to separate you guys. Maybe a young man or girl, whatever, came in between you, something that you both admired. And maybe that's what caused the separation, and you are missing this friendship, Like it was something that kept you wholesome. You don't feel whole. You don't see your other half. is what it gives me. Or maybe you were separated from like a sibling, or you know, some kind of relative or something like that. But it kind of gets me that like somebody from the outside or somebody that was close to you all got in between this relationship and kind of ruined it. And maybe you still kind of circle around each other. Maybe you are even friends on Facebook or something like that. Or maybe you've gotten reacquainted with this person recently, and now you're thinking back and reminiscing on the times that you and this person share, and you kind of miss that. You wish you still could have that, and you don't. The what ifs and the whys. Or maybe you started speaking to this person, and you guys are kind of like realizing, like, hey, you know, we've gotten older, but shit really hasn't changed with us. We're still kind of like those essential morals and people and things and spirits that drew us to each other in the first place. And I wonder if we would be a lot closer now if things didn't happen a certain way. You get what I'm saying? That's kind of what this gives me. I don't know if you all are going to make up again in April, or if you separated in April, or maybe the name is April or something. As a time mark, maybe it's some Aries or Taurus energy that's involved in that, or maybe one of you are Aries, another one is a Taurus or something like that. Just showing like how close you two were. So whatever this relationship is, I think you need to start building that bridge maybe, or you want to build that bridge, and it just kind of like hasn't happened so far. So for the why, I do see. Yes, you have the Nine of Swords and you have the Five of Swords. I think the separation came about due to a lack or issue with the communication, a breakdown in communication, I feel. I think there were some fears, maybe whether on your end or on the other person's end, of whether like abandonment was going to be a thing, or that maybe you were being left behind, or you know, this conflict was going on, and maybe you felt like, you know, to victor goes the spoils. And so maybe you two fell out about this admirer, this person who got in between you all, and you felt like you came out the loser in this situation because this childhood friend or whatever took this person. And instead of actually, because, you know, just as kids, we sometimes don't, as children, you know, children don't oftentimes have the vocabulary. I mean, hell, even as adults, sometimes you don't have the vocabulary to express what you're feeling, the issues that you are having, or even feeling secure within yourself or the friendship to share how you're feeling. And so sometimes the first thing that usually comes out, the first way we typically respond is anger, because if you are into psychology or whatever, you know, anger is kind of like the baser level, but it could be, anger could show up, could come from being in fear, or it can come up from being frustrated. Anger can come up from, you know, not feeling protected. Anger is the first base emotion, but it could stem from so many other emotions and things. But because it's the, I don't want to say baser emotion that you usually tap into, it that kind of shows up first, instead of like, no, I resent you, or I'm mad at you because of this and this and that. Like, why can't we both just leave this person alone? Or I feel like this person is doing this, or I feel like you're leaving me behind. And so anger came up in the situation instead of vulnerability. Maybe you were angry for having to be vulnerable. So that is what's coming up for me for why this kind of like separation happened. Just kind of like a lack of communication, and maybe you probably didn't even know, or they didn't even know that they were feeling this way. And so, you know, somebody got left behind, so separation happened, is what I'm getting. somebody felt like they had to stand their ground or something. And, you know, it was like, you know, I'd rather push you out on my own than to lose you to somebody else kind of thing. Or maybe some change was coming up and it was just like, you know what, I'd rather, you know how you say mean things to somebody because you would rather them think that you were just being mean than actually tell them the truth about what you were trying to save them from or hide from them. Like, that's kind of like a thing that comes up. One more time for my bridges, pile 4s. Let's see what healing messages come up for you. Let's see here. What healing messages do you have for my pile 4s? For the bridge. How can they be in this relationship for my pile 4s? Is it possible? Can they mend this relationship, my pile 4s? Can they mend? Go back to this past relationship. Okay, ooh, I got a couple things come out here. Yeah, this confirms it for me. Perspective of absence. Hold what is absence in the presence of your love. Yeah, it feels like a loved one, some essential relationship that you had ended and not in a way that you had hoped, not in the way that you had wanted. Then we have melting mask. Allow your spirit self to shine through the many roles you fulfill, which goes back to this of like, you decided to put forward a different face than what you actually were meaning or wanting to put forward, and to, you know, what they call it, in order to kind of like save face, maybe you decided to dawn on another one. And yeah, I could see some hurtful things being exchanged, or, you know, just anger, again, like anger being the thing that came up instead of actually effectively communicating the sense of loss or bereavement, or, you know, like feeling left behind, or, you know, because it was a spot where you were unsure, things was changing, and that was something that came up. And then I have internal gatekeeper. Acknowledge, assert, and protect what is right for you. So it seems like this relationship was good for you. You probably don't want to hear that. You probably don't want to face that. But it seems like this relationship was good for you. And maybe you need to fight to get it back. Like, it was a pretty powerful thing for you. And then I have creative power. Release your alchemical energy into the world. With this card, it kind of gives me like, maybe y'all were like, because again, I'm seeing the feet here. You have the best friends, bouquet, and all of this. It kind of gives me like you all were like twin flames kind of energy. And twin flames don't always mean something romantic. You could actually have, you know, a soulmate, so to speak, out here. Again, so twin flames don't always mean that it's something romantic. You could have a friend, a family member, or something like that. It don't always have to be something romantic. Some kind of, you know, relationship person out here who is like your other half, your better half. Better half, I don't like saying that. But that is your other half. And because you aren't creating, you don't have this person in your life, that separation, you definitely feel that hindrance on you spiritually. And that could be the case of like why this is your childhood trauma. You found your other half and now you're separated. Like with this creative power, I know it's a pregnant woman and it's saying creating all this other stuff, but to me it just kind of gives me like maybe you were like twin flames kind of thing, and now that you're separated from this person, you aren't the whole you that you were meant to be, or that you used to be. And so yeah, to me it kind of reads like some mending of that relationship needs to happen, is what I get. is the problem with the power for childhood trauma? Okay, and this did come out in reverse. Just bad luck, yeah. What is the solution to power for childhood trauma? Ooh. Okay, let's see. There's a lot tried to jump. A lot did jump out. What am I saying? There is a lot of hearts in this. A lot of darkness, hope. So I got 16, which speaks to the star. 32, which is the moon. I have 33, which is the key, and 19, which is the tower. I'm going to put these back in here, though, and I'm going to shuffle again to see if they come back out. To see what comes out. What is the solution for my power force? What is the solution to my power force childhood trauma? What is the solution to my power force childhood trauma? You're getting a lot of bouquets. To me, it just reads make up. You have flowers here, you have the bouquet here, and then you also have the flowers here. Flowers also in the Lenormand deck speaks to like forgiveness, making up, treats, gifts, romance. I'll read it here. It says, when I see the lilies pop up, I feel a stretch of time. Either something needs time or a situation needing lots of patience and wisdom in dealing with it. I'm going to read that again. When the lilies pop up, it is either something that needs time or a situation needing lots of patience and wisdom in dealing with it. The lilies also talk about our aunts, uncles, grandparents, and people we revere and respect for the expertise, knowledge, or skill. So, and depending on the context, the Lily's card can also be expressing the feelings of serenity and contentment. It is the maturity, mastery, respect, honesty, and purity card. So yeah, this gives me a very, again, purity. Yeah, it gives me a very pure relationship kind of thing. So I'm really leaning towards this was a friendship. Like maybe if y'all did stay in contact, maybe you would have grown into a whole like lovers thing. But when I see the lilies or the flowers in this sense, to me it just speaks of serenity. It speaks of communication. It speaks of you need to be mature, the wisdom and actually properly communicating what you were feeling or doing or felt, whatever you were going through at the time, of being honest, of being open, of making up, forgiveness. It really speaks to that for me. And so I think that's clear as day. I think you need to tell this person. It could have even been something of like, maybe y'all were long lost loves kind of thing, and you separated from them, and due to whatever reason. Again, this is the second pile that I have where it doesn't feel really like almost childlike. Like this may have been something a bit more mature, but I would say like I'm gonna keep it on the cleaner side and just say like, this feels like this was probably some young friendship that was torn apart prematurely, and it shouldn't have, and now it's time to like make up. I wonder if this person has come back into your life recently, or if you've seen them, or if something just had you thinking about them recently, and that's probably why this is coming up for you. But let's see what's going to be the outcome. Let's see what's going to. Yeah, to me, it seems like, to me, this reads clear as day. Yeah, definitely do it. When I see the anchor and Lenormand, it almost kind of gives me like that mountain feel of something that is unmovable, unchangeable, of rest, stop, I have to think, hold on, I'm going to go in here, because I think it actually says the word in the description. in the description. So I'm just going to read it since I have the book. In a reading, the anchor brings weight and holds things down or in place. Yes. Holding things down. Like this is something stable. This, yeah, it says it here. It brings stability, dependability, and that comforting feeling of things remaining unchanging. So I think there is something that is very deep and true about this relationship, that you were separated from this relationship, this friendship, this, sisterhood, brotherhood, this circle, this unity circle, this whatever, this relationship that you got separated from. Whether it was romantically or just platonic or whatever, it seems like there was some kind of separation that happened prematurely or that shouldn't have happened. It could have been avoided. And a lot of this pain could have been avoided as well. But it seems that, y'all just had bad luck at the time. And once you make up, I think you're going to probably, I won't say pick up back where you left off, per se, because, things happen. As we get older, you grow and change, and incidences happen. You miss out on key memories or whatnot. But essentially, like, oh, you still crack that same old joke. You're still corny, or you're still lovable. You still care about people, even if you're a bit more guarded in how you show love to people or whatnot. Like, I feel like that kind of thing. Like, it would be like, oh, we just picked up right where we left off, even though it's been like 10, 15 years, kind of thing. That's what this is giving me. And I'll continue. It says, combined with positive cards, the anchor brings a feeling of constant reliability, devotion, and this solid, deep-rooted feeling of security. On the other hand, when negative cards are around, this security becomes a noose, a shackle, a heavy thing. And I don't think this is what that is. It can be restrictive and it can tie us down. It turns into a ball and chain, a rope, or even a leash. The anchor is the determination and the perseverance card. And I think that sums it up nicely. Persevere, come to a decision on whether if this person, if they still feel like it was worth the time. Even if you don't become a part of a hard, an important person in each other's lives or whatnot, I think it's still worth having that conversation of clearing up that miscommunication, misconceptions, or whatnot. I think that relationship was worth it. And once that's laid out, it may even get awkward for a bit, but it will eventually, even if you're not close friends, maybe you'll become good business partners, or, probably just send each other important information on social media or something, or shouting each other out. It could be, something that's good just spiritually, or, I should just say for fun, I would say, is the other thing. It don't even have to be all that deep, but I think the relationship is worth mending and getting back to if you have access to this person, which to me, it really feels like you do. It feels like this person has probably come back around, and that's why I'm getting this, like, reaching out and things like that. So, yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add. I just wish you luck and hope that this relationship, you two are able to have this mature conversation, that you are able to lay all of your cards out on the table and really make amends, because to me, friendships are invaluable, especially when you have one as pure and as sincere and as mutual like this. It's just like, I wish the best for you and you wish the best for me, kind of thing. Like, even though we fell out, we never really talked bad about each other. It was just like, hey, it happened, kind of thing. And I hate that it happens. Friendships are invaluable. Like, you could have lovers that come and go. You can have family members even that come and go. But when you have true friendships like this, deep friendships like this, relationships like this, they almost leave like a bigger scar, if you ask me, than if you lost your spouse or, a close family member, because it's something different about a bond like that. Some people have never and probably will never experience anything like that. So I think it's definitely worth having that communication, that conversation, and laying some things out and you know, some forgiveness is needed as well. So, yeah, that's all I have for you, Pal 4. That's kind of what's coming up for me for your childhood trauma. I would say definitely try to keep outsiders that have no business being in the middle of your relationship, and just keeping the air clear between each other is the other thing. I think maybe you two have too big, strong, or like bullheaded or caring personalities, and sometimes that can get in the way and people take advantage of that and they get jealous or whatever. So yeah, I would say clear that out. Just take some time and just air it out and cry about it or whatever, like all the time you miss, and hopefully and you know, move forward together from there. So yeah, that's all I have for you. This was actually quite nice. This is a lovely reading. It's much lighter than a couple of these other ones in the group. So with that, I bid you all adieu. I bid you good luck, and I will see you all in the next pick a card reading, unless you are also resonating with Pile 5, and that is who I'm moving to now. All right, so my hearts, the hearts, my last Pile 5, my last but not least, you have the heart heavy for you. All right. Or that could trigger you. I just want to get these nice and shuffled and attuned to your 5th power energy that we got going on. My hearts. Alright, and I'm going to get started. Let's see. What is the childhood trauma that my Pile 5s, the hearts, are dealing with? What childhood trauma are the hearts dealing with? What childhood trauma is the hearts dealing with? What childhood trauma is the heart dealing with? What childhood trauma is the heart dealing with? I guess that was it for you, huh? What childhood trauma is the heart dealing with? What childhood trauma are the hearts dealing with? One more? Okay, I think that was it for you. Let's see. Oh, and you have 2 cards as well. So I have the 3 of Wands, and then we have the Emperor. Okay, let's see who caused this trauma for you. Again, we're going to shuffle this 5 times to get it tuned to your 5th power energy. Ooh. Was that supposed to come out? Let's see. I'm going to take note of these. 7 of 9s and the 8 of baskets. Okay, I took note of those. And something else is turned up in here. The 4 of Sticks. You're getting stuff in the shuffle. So definitely some Wands energy going on here, some passion. Who caused this trauma? Oh my God, 5s. Look, there was another one that came out. Who caused? That's funny. Wasn't that one that flipped over earlier? this 8 of Baskets came out earlier, so I definitely feel like this is supposed to be here. Let's get into why. I just kind of love the way these shuffle. Ooh. Sounds like butter. You have a lot of things that's just flipping over in my hands in the deck. Like, I'm not even getting a really good shuffle. It's just flipping over in my hands. So, okay, baby. You ain't got to tell me nothing else. Well, actually, this came out, and then it was the cups. I know what I'm getting, but there we go again. Why is this Emperor card here? Why is this Emperor card here? Okay, so I was asking why the Emperor card was here, and I happened to get 5, but it also reads like Aries. And if you know anything, the Emperor comes after, the Emperor is also it represents Aries energy, Mars energy. So it say victory in some endeavors, but I'm reading this more of like, this is Aries. I also have the kangaroo, which has a baby in a pouch. And then I have ladder. So the kangaroo reads, unsettled times need to plan ahead, and the ladder reads, climbing towards success. But that's not what I'm getting from this. What I'm getting from this is that you have your childhood wound is that a father figure or a paternal figure in particular, a parental figure left you do not know them, maybe. Even I was getting that earlier, the emperor, kind of like the ruler. Usually, I think when you think of fathers, they're usually like the disciplinarian. They're the ones who lay the foundation. They're the one who lay the rules. Having that masculine, that a father in a home is essential. Ooh, look at this. And then I got man, dealings or relationship with the man. I think that's important because that was like at the bottom. And then you got the same thing. What was that? Pile 3 head? Heartache over what you no longer have. Like, yeah, to me it's just reconfirming that you have a father, some paternal figure, some father, some, what they call it, authority figure in your life that was essential for you that left or separated or moves on, whatever the case may be, has another family, who knows? Because in the heart, if you see the archetypes ones, it's 2 people in a boat, a heart. It kind of reminds you of like things father and son would do. So this gives me a lot of masculine energy. It gives me a broken home. It gives me father moves on or they separated and you were left behind. That is just kind of affirming a lot of shit for me. It also, the thing that affirmed it for me, when I seen the Emperor, I seen the 8 of Baskets, the 3 of Sticks, I seen the 4 of Sticks, and then you have the Father of Knives. Father of Knives made me feel like, oh, the father is not in the picture. They were somebody who made you feel protected. They were somebody who gave you those boundaries. They were somebody who gave you those tidbits on how to be a man or a woman, what have you. They kind of gave you those rules, that foundation. They weren't there. This 8 of Baskets, it shows man is leaving the house. Again, you got the 3 of Sticks, the 3 of Wands. It's typically speaks to travel, moving on, moving forward, choosing to not sit there on the shore anymore. And then I have the 4 of Sticks, which usually talks to like a harmony or a marriage, a happy family that has been broken, because it comes up in reverse. And then you have the 9 of Sticks, of just kind of like it's coming up in reverses as well. Maybe this was a violent. When I see the 9 of Sticks in this one in particular, it makes me think of like maybe it was some kind of like domestic dispute with the parents in the house, and maybe that's probably why the father left. Not saying that they were the abuser, or if they weren't, it kind of speaks to like something volatile or toxic was going on in that relationship, and it had to end. Like, that was the person who caused it. To me, for the why, for the who's, it speaks to like, either whoever this paternal or authority figure was in your life, something in the home was not right in order for them to stay there. And so separation was the thing that happened. And unfortunately, you were left out in the cold. You were the one forgotten. It was something that hurted. It was a lot to overcome. And again, the whys for this 3 of Cups, it speaks to maybe was it some infidelity in the household. It got violent. Again, this speaks to like party, when I see this 3 of Cups, it speaks to like party, matrimony, friendships. 3 is a crowd. Somebody else also had the 3 of Cups as well earlier. But it gives me like, maybe the whys of this was deeper than what you realized at the time. Or maybe you didn't get the whole story of what was going on. And it was a bit much to bear for whoever this paternal figure was that left. Again, you have the 3 of Wands. 3 of Wands, 3 of Sticks, 3 of Wands, 3 of Wands, 3 of Wands, 3 of Wands. So 3, 3, 3, 3. the Emperor and the Four of Sticks, you know, that speaks to that four energy. Yeah, okay. Just take a minute. Yeah, somebody had to leave. It was not conducive. It was not working out. It was just not headed in the right direction. It was not going to be fruitful for those involved or that was in the house, that was in the situation, around the situation, near the situation, over, under the situation. It was not going to be fruitful if that paternal father authority figure stayed in the house. They had to leave. It seems like whether they were in the right or in the wrong. And then I also see the Nine of Swords here, kind of just like escaping. So it makes me think of like somebody didn't want to see it. They probably knew what was going on. And I get whoever is the parental figure that's still involved in your life, they aren't telling you the whole story because they are wanting to make themselves look like the victim or the hero in this situation. Or like the victim or the savior in the situation is kind of what I get. They want to look like, yeah, the hero or the victim. It's kind of like what they're playing at is what I'm getting. So that is the wise of the situation. I keep gritting my teeth reading this. Holistic synergy. Let's see. Yeah, this gives me that a lot of hands. A lot of people knew about it, but they weren't telling. Why is this Father of Knives here? Why is this Father of Knives here? Let's see. I got all right. The Father of Knives, presence of absence, is giving absentee father. Is giving me, yeah, I think it just says it right there. Absentee father, again, and going back to the threes. I just think it's important to keep bringing this up. You have the Three of Sticks. You have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands. They're all Three of Wands. Actually, you have the Three of Cups. And then you have, it's like three mouths open here. It makes me feel like there were probably some infidelities that were going on in your principal figures' marriage, and it caused this separation of the absentee father. Or maybe, you know what? No, I'm not even going to say that. You can infer from that what you will. I don't want to touch that because that could be a bit deep and that could be insulting to some people. I don't want to assume anything. I would just say, I'm just going to say, mama's babies, father's maybes. That's it. Infer from that what you will. So, it's given maybe who you think is your father isn't your father, and maybe you don't like who's your father, who's your actual father. Because, you know, it's more than one way to be a mother. It's more than one way to be a father. Just because you give birth to somebody don't mean anything. Did you raise them? Did you feed them? Did you nurture them? Did you go to recitals? Was you there when they were sick? Do you know what they allergic to? Yeah. Okay, these are actually nice and shuffle. I can just jump into those when I'm ready. Yeah, it's giving me... Are you an Aries? Is your father an Aries? Or maybe this could... I'm going to keep going down this tunnel. I'm just going to dig myself into a bigger hole. It could also be that... yeah, again, maybe the person that you're actually mad at is the person that isn't your actual blood-related father, but they were father in all the ways that it mattered. And you recently, or you kind of have an inkling that the person who is your father is in the home with you, or, you know, maybe they're somewhat in the picture, somewhat not, whatever the case may be. Yeah, it's kind of giving me that kind of vibe. But for whatever reason, you have an absentee father in this situation. That's a childhood wound. You have a father wound. What can my power fires the hearts do to heal this father wound? What can my power fires do to heal? Fires do to heal from this father wound. Fires do to heal from this father wound. Is it going to be a slow burn? Do you want to come out? I think these are meant to be out. So you have wisdom in play. Our intuition knows more than we do. Are you starting to catch on to what happened in this situation, to why this child wound happened, to who the key players were? Are you starting to have an inkling of what happened or what transpired? Have you heard something from a certain someone? You know, heard it through the grapevine? What actually went down and what happened? Did you start to... I don't know. You went to the hospital and some blood transfusion thing tried to happen, and they was like, yeah, this person who, you know, your dad's blood is not going to work for you. Huh? Excuse me, what? Yeah, I feel like you kind of know. And again, I'm just going to point this out. The woman in this picture has a blindfold over her eyes. It kind of gives you a mixture between a, what is that? The High Priestess and the Temperance card, which deals with a lot of intuition. Like, you know what's up. And then it has empty, the ending and beginning light at either side of the same door. And again, I pointed this out in another pile as well. These wounds, yeah, this is definitely something to do with your actual blood relations. Somebody is not, you know, I would just say if this was Jerry Springer going on Maury, a lot of you are not the fathers is going to be called out. Again, I'm just laughing because I'm nervous. Yeah, emptied. It's giving like you come from a different You come from, as they used to say, unfavorable circumstances, as they would say back in the day. You come from unfavorable circumstances, and yeah, this is giving who you think is the father isn't the father. Yeah. Sorry to say, that's what's coming up for me. That's what's coming up for me. I felt like there was something else I was about to say about emptied, and then I forgot. Yeah, but that's what that's giving me. Let's see, what is the... Oh, here we go. There's another power. It's just flipping over just because. Bam, the snake, the problem is some lies and deceit that has happened with your childhood wound. Again, secrets. It's a lot of secrets, some hiding, some deceit that has been going on with the, I feel like with the circumstances of your birth or who your father is. Somebody is not talking or misleading. Yeah, just being really secretive. So if you are not familiar with the Lenormand deck, you have the snake, then you have the book, and then you have spirit for your outcome. And what okay. So the problem of kind of like why you're probably not getting down to the bottom of your childhood wound is that somebody is misleading you, spreading false narratives, being secret. Maybe those people aren't around anymore and you're left with little scraps on the table, and those probably aren't even the true scraps. The solution to this is that you need to find a way to unlock those secrets, or maybe even keep that book closed. If it's a situation of like, okay, no, that father figure, that paternal figure, that authority figure that was in your life that you are separated from, that you cared so much or revered so much when you were younger, it's the reason why they're not around, because they were violent. Now, if it's the other way, where it's like, no, the parent or parental figures that you are currently in proximity with, I'll say that, it gives me like, nah, you're gonna have to do some digging, some pulling up, some undoing. It's kind of the thing. The outcome of this is that you're finally going to see people for what they are. And I'm going to read this. So the spirit card brings in the third eye chakra. Again, this is referring back to kind of like your wisdom, your intuition on things. Like you've kind of had an inkling. The spirit card brings in the third eye chakra, the I see factor, into the reading and what your real eyes cannot see. The card represents the feelings and the little pulses of intuition we get that we often brush off with our self-doubts. This sounds like it's hitting a little too close to home for you all. The Spirit card reminds us that we are not alone and to listen and believe in our gut feelings and our hunches. It calls to us to pay attention to all the synchronicities happening around us, as the world is always trying to communicate with us. On occasions, it might simply be talking about a spirit, an entity, or a ghost from another side. We either need to clear, conjure, be aware of, or listen to. On the other hand, it could just be a gentle presence felt. The context and the cards around it will help determine if the spirit is malevolent or benevolent. If we were just going off the linear mind of what I was getting, if just reading it that way, be careful of the spirits. I'm still going to say it though. Be careful of the spirits you're going to disturb with kicking the hornet's nest with unlocking these secrets. Be careful of the spirits that you are going to be waking up. Be careful of the truths that you, or the untruths that you are actually going to be revealing and peeling back. Whether that is for your sanity or the people that you encounter that you're going to have to dig this stuff up from. You get what I'm saying? So I think the outcome of this is basically you are going to see as far as you want to see, or that you can see in this situation, but you definitely need to trust yourself. It's not in your head. Maybe I get in this, like maybe somebody has been gaslighting you to make you think like you're crazy, or what you're thinking is not actually true, but you're onto something. I'm not going to necessarily say that it's true, but that you're onto something. And I think it's definitely dealing with your parental or father figure, or, this authoritarian figure that's in your life. And I think you just, you are owed the truth. I think at the end of anything, whether good or bad, I think you are owed the truth. So, just tread lightly. Be careful of, prepare yourself and be careful of where you tread. It's kind of like the overall feel for this. You definitely don't want to step into a pile of shit. And if you do step into a pile of shit, you want to make sure it's probably some wet shit so you can easily clean it off. So yeah, that's really what I'm getting for you. It's a lot of burden. I get it could be a lot to carry. It's a hard uphill climb when you have so many people or things working against you, but you can work through this. When I said people or things working against you, you had this card fall out earlier, but I didn't think it pertained to it. But it makes sense for the Who's. It was a lot of people involved in this cover up. It's a lot of people and trying to protect certain people or cover things up. I feel that's coming up with this as well. Another thing that I kind of get, and I hope that's not the case, has this parental or father figure were they possibly removed by force that keeps, in a way, removed in a force or a way that keeps you from meeting them because they're no longer on this side of the plane? They have crossed over because of this cheating, this hot fire that was going on, this breaking of the family. I hope that's not the case, but that is something else I'm also picking up. Like maybe that's the deep dark secret. If you catch my drift. So that's kind of like, yeah, I really hope that isn't the case. Whatever the case may be, I just say be prepared for what you're going to find out if you want to get to the bottom of this. And that good, bad, or indifferent. Just like prepare yourself and take a deep breath as you go through this, for sure. Yeah. I think there are a lot of people you are going to freaking piss off, or whose spirits you are going to disturb. But I think if you want to get to the bottom of your childhood trauma, you actually want to discover and find out exactly what happened, why it happened, kind of thing, and where that leaves you off at. I think that's completely up to you. I think you should also try to put some, guardrails is kind of like the word I want to say, some guardrails in place. I don't know why I thought of kind of like bowling. You know, the guardrails, you know, you have them up and it's going to help you. You're going to at least knock something down. So I think you definitely want to put like some guardrails up in accordance to, you know, something that's going to help keep you up and keep you moving forward when you're ready to like give up. Because I don't think this is going to be something easy to get through at all, or to get to the bottom of. So yeah, I would say definitely put some guardrails in place for your sanity's sake, for your heart's sake. So yeah, that's all I'm getting for you, Power 5. Nothing else is kind of like jumping out at me, or at least anything of pertinence I'm getting that really matters, that is jumping out to me for this. I think you probably have the heaviest lift out of the 5 piles that I read today of how to kind of mend this childhood wound that you have. It sounds like you're kind of like also going to be uncovering some family trauma, and that is never an easy thing to undo. You know, a whole family can conspire to hide a certain type of trauma for their own sake. So yeah, I definitely get like you probably have the heavier lift. It kind of started off light, but as I went through this, it definitely kind of gives me like you have the heavier lift out of the 5 piles that I read today. So I think rest and respite is needed, and I think some grounding is needed for you as well. And again, put those guardrails in place as you go through this, because I don't think it's going to be something easy to walk through. So yeah, the truth that's going to come out of this, I think it's going to be enough. It could be enough to make or break anyone. So yeah, that's all I'm getting for you. Again, Power 5, I thank you for clicking on this video. If you made it through, definitely, breathe in, breathe out, and plan what you want to do next. Be careful in how you move next as well, is what I want to say. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. You can, at the end of this video, you can see another one of my readings pop up here, or you can follow for more here, and I will see you all on the next one.